Hi, and welcome to Care. Today it's all about occupational therapy. If you're like me, I have no idea what it is, so I'm going to hand you right over to Miss Aaliyah Drakes, who is an occupational therapist specializing in children's occupational therapy. Aaliyah, how did you hear about occupational therapy? First to begin.
All right, my journey to occupational therapy, I actually wanted to do physiotherapy, which I'll get into a little bit later, the differences between them, since everybody thinks it's the same thing. But when I went to study physio, occupational, and speech therapy in Barbados, like you, I had no idea what occupational therapy was at all.
So I don't feel so bad.
No, because most people feel like that. But the first day of class, we went into it, and I was like, oh, occupational therapy, what is this? And when I learned about it, I said, okay, this is what I need to do. This is what I have to do.
Oh, so you felt compelled to do it.
Yes, I felt.
What is occupational therapy? Because we're then gonna then you're gonna tell me why you felt compelled to do it.
Okay, I'll give you the short answer, and then I'll give you the little longer answer.
No problem.
Basically, occupational therapy is a science of helping people become independent in their daily activities. That's the short answer.
That's a short answer. So I'm not going to ask my question from that yet then.
You can if you want, but I'll give you the longer answer.
Okay.
The longer answer is we look at people across the lifespan from birth to older adults, and we look at the areas of their functioning, everything that you need to do in your daily lives, your dressing, feeding yourself, putting your clothes on, going to work, which is what most people think occupation is, but also your leisure activities.
That's exactly what my mind went to. Like, occupational therapy, occupation, work, what is that?
I know most people think they either ask occupational therapy, so you help people get jobs, right? Or they say, so that's like physiotherapy. But it's completely different.
I knew that it had something to do around, and I'm going to sound very silly, but I knew that it had something to do with autism and, something around that area. So I didn't go down the road of, well, you help people get jobs. But what I feel like I might be getting wrong is that it's not, well, just based on your short answer, it's not just people that don't learn at a traditional pace.
No.
Do you help everyone?
Everyone.
Or you can help everyone?
We can help everyone. Once you have an impairment in a function, whether it's through an injury, an illness, a disability or condition, or maybe even a mental health challenge, once it affects your everyday functioning, we can help you. And I thought of a couple examples to kind of illustrate it.
Well, let's hear those examples.
Okay. So one of the best examples that I could think of is a friend of mine last year. He fell off his bike, broke his wrist, his right hand, and he's a right-hander. So from the start, you could think about all the different ways that he'll be affected. Right. He couldn't write, wouldn't be able to brush his teeth, even to do things like button on his clothes. Those things would be hard. So he had to have his surgery, of course, to put the pin in and get everything back. And normally when that happens, people go home. But for him, he plays guitar. And I remember one of the first things after it happened, he was really worried about what would happen to his guitar playing because he had a concert coming up in a few months. So we put him on to one of the occupational therapists, and he had a few sessions with her. And during these sessions, they would do things like using the putty to strengthen the fingers again, stretching out the muscles and the actual injury to make sure that it healed better. That
does sound kind of like physiotherapy.
He said it was exactly. But where occupational therapy comes in, we would look at what it is he needed to do, which was get back to playing guitar and get back to swimming and get back to doing all the activities that he needed to do. So the occupational therapist would select activities geared towards helping him be able to do those things again.
So it's more specific to the individual.
Yeah,
but it seems as if it's a very wide range that you'd cover because, physiotherapy is sort of like, okay, I understand the person's body, but occupational therapy, if I get into an accident and I lose my memory, you sort of have to cover from mental, emotional, I would imagine, physical.
Yes.
Dude. You have doctor behind
well,
your
that's,
name.
I mean, that's
all of that, and you don't get a doctor behind your name when you're done.
I know, right?
It's like, that sucks. How
it's
long
the
does
beauty
it take
of
to
it.
study?
It takes 4 years to get a master's program, and, well, 4 years to get your first degree, and then 2 years for the master's program. So it takes a long time to study it. And then...
I think you should have doctor behind your name. In front of your name. Not behind, sorry.
But what happens after you finish, when you study, you learn everything. So you learn from birth to older adults. So everybody basically comes out knowing a little bit of everything.
Okay.
And then when you come out, or by the time you come out, you might decide you want to specialize. Like, I always knew I wanted to work with children.
Okay.
So
is it that we have
focus my skills there?
Several occupational therapists, but then some specialize in the physical aspect, and then some specialize in the mental aspect?
Yes.
Yes.
But some do crossover. So we have some therapists who work with adults, work with children, and some who work with everybody. It just kind of depends on what you want to do.
Okay.
What your area of interest is. Mine is just children.
All right. So tell me, how many people do we have in Trinidad? Like, is this easy? Is this something that I could find?
Eventually, yes.
Eventually.
We have 14 registered occupational therapists. All occupational therapists must be registered with the Council for Professions Related to Medicine in order to practice. So we have 14 practicing. We have a few more registered, but 14 practicing, which...
Are they spread out in the country, at least?
Not really.
Not really.
Not really spread out. Most are in Port of Spain. We have a couple in South.
Public system, or is it all private?
No. All private, except for St. Anne's, they have one there. But in the hospitals, no. And that's why nobody knows about it.
If I need occupational therapy?
Well, for you or for your family member?
Well,
anybody.
Can I find out if I need it?
Yes.
I clearly need it for relationships. Y'all give that. Does that help? I can't work on that independently. I need help for that. Based on your definition, anything that I can't do independently, you step in.
Well, it's really up to you. For some people, it could be something that's obvious, like the injury, or if you have a known condition where you find that things are getting a little hard. For some other people, for example, for older adults, they mightn't have any condition or anything, but you just find that maybe they're slowing down a little bit, things are getting a little bit harder. They might benefit from an occupational therapy assessment or a session just to make sure that their home environment is conducive to their needs. So, for example, if they want to cook and want to make tea or something, and they have all the cups all the way up in the cupboard, or you go home and they have all the rugs there and they'll be tripping on the rugs, or they have all the furniture close together, the occupational therapist will then come and say, you know what, this is not safe for you, in order to make sure that you don't fall and that you are able to stay as healthy as possible. Let's fix up your environment and just make everything more accessible for you.
And how does a parent know that the child needs occupational therapy?
Okay. Well, from birth, now most parents, especially with the internet, from the time the child is born, they're looking at the different milestones. So for some children, from birth, it might be a condition that they'll know about. For example, Down syndrome, you might know before the child is born or when the child is born that they have a condition where they might need assistance. But for some, it might just be as they are developing, you find that it might be taking a little bit longer, or they might react to certain situations differently. For example, the noises bother them, or when you go to bathe them, they can't stand the water, or you go to put clothes on and they want to pull it off because the tags are bothering them. So as they grow, some parents might start to notice little things that...
My daughter has a serious problem with tags. Should I be sending her by you?
It depends on how it affects her. If it's where you could just cut the tags off and she'll be okay, or if it is a situation where it might be she doesn't like the tags, but then she also doesn't like to play with glue when they're doing crafts in school, or she doesn't like to step on the grass outside or play with dirt or play in the sand by the beach. if it's affecting her everyday function, and she might be getting distressed, or she might be able to play with her friends, then it might be worth.
Okay, so it's just a level. I clip it off and then she's fine. So that she's fine. All right, good. Because I feel like, I mean, it's the more that I learn about these things, I mean, it must be traumatic for you. Do you have children?
No.
Okay.
I have a niece and a nephew.
Well, I don't know how many birthday parties you go to and how many play dates you go to. But I'm imagining as an occupational therapist sitting down in a party with like 20 kids. And you probably going, yeah, you need, and you need, and you need, and you definitely need. And the poor parent has no clue. Does that happen?
Yes, it's awful. It's really bad.
We have to go pay some bills.
Sure.
I just asked you a question and I saw your facial expression. So I feel like that's going to take us past my bills time. So let's go pay bills. And then when you come back, you're going to tell me that you need business. Okay? Don't go anywhere. Today we're on Care talking about occupational therapy. And if you don't know what that is, it has nothing to do with helping you get a job. Don't go anywhere. So the time is Hi, and we're talking all about occupational therapy today. If you're like me and had no clue what that was, it has nothing to do with getting a job. Occupational therapy is, and let's see if I remember this, the short version. It is you helping others to independently do everyday things. Yes, all right.
That one sounded even better than the first time.
When we went on break, we were discussing, living in everyday life. Mm-hmm. As I was saying, I coach children, and every time I go back to camp after having a show, I kind of think, you need therapy, you need this, you need that, because your eyes are now open to all these different things. And you really start to think, okay, is that child just blatantly ignoring us? Or does he genuinely have a hearing problem, Because that a few weeks ago, that's what we dealt with. And the therapist at the time brought up the fact that some children are genuinely not hearing.
Yes.
So when I go to camp now and a kid bypasses all four aunties after the auntie has said good afternoon to him, and he just doesn't say anything, and he literally acts as if he's not hearing, some of the aunties go, that boy, hardened boy. I think, maybe he's not hearing. Mm-hmm. I can't tell parents that. I mean, well, maybe I should. Maybe I should bring it up, and maybe you can help teach me how to bring that up. But how do you exist? How do you go to a school, like a little birthday party, a family lime, and not constantly want to point out, well, or Because based on what you're saying to me, it seems like quite a bit of people might need a little bit of occupational therapy.
Yes. Well, I mean...
You don't need to be politically correct. There are no parents here. And we're not pointing out their children. So it's okay. You could say it out loud.
In terms of the birthday party situation and being in public and seeing a lot of children, I do tend to assess children a lot and look at them and kind of just see. And yes, I do pick up, that child might need a little bit of handwriting help, might need a little work with attention, something with sensory. You do pick those sort of things up. But, for example, a little boy who bypassed all the four aunties, it could be a hearing, it could be attention, it could be maybe he's so focused on whatever it is he was going to that the four aunties talking, he wasn't paying attention to that. He was maybe listening, maybe there was music playing and he was listening to that instead, or he was just focusing on going. So it might not necessarily be something that needs to be addressed in a therapy situation. It might just be that situation, it was hard for him to focus or pay attention. But if it is something that is ongoing, so for example, if you're coaching these children on...
And you say his name all the time and he ignores you.
Then that might be something where you might say, or if it is that, you're saying his name and it takes him a long, long time to actually shift his focus to you, then you might start to think, well, maybe it is something where it's really not him just trying to be hardened. It might just be something that is physically hard for him to do, to pay attention to you. In which case, depending on how you know the parent, you could kind of have a conversation with them and let them know as gently as possible. Well,
I really just hope all my parents watch the show and so they get to learn the same thing I learned.
Well, the beauty of it...
See my cameraman nodding.
Like what you said about after each show, you learn a little bit more and then you get to use it and with all the other children. That's the beauty of it. The more you know that it's not just the child being hardened or the child being clumsy or not paying attention. You kind of think, well, you stop and think, which is what we want. We want more people to, instead of just writing off the child. Yes,
because we tend to do that all the time.
Yeah, and you just say,
it's their personality. They have a strong personality. They have a this, they have a that. And
not doing their work and not paying attention, not looking at the board. When it might be something. So if it is something, if it's a consistent problem, then it might be worth letting the parent know or letting the teacher know. Well,
it might be worth getting an assessment.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Check it and see.
Is this something that you guys use a lot of medication for, or is it just... No.
No.
Right.
Occupational therapy is not about medication.
Because I have a problem with, like, I feel as if, as I always say, doctors is make my children sick. You know? I mean, it's like, I come to you fine and you make me sick. Because we have all these different... These different things now, you know. You could put a label and a name and a condition to everything now. Yeah. You know, and so I'm in between because I kind of think, all right, like let the kids be kids. But then at the same time, I see how children are being labeled, you know, because the world is moving at a fast pace. So children are being left behind very easily, you know, and children are being labeled very easily. Badly behaved, this, that, whatever. You know, the latest one is monsters, of course. And and that's the only reason that I would really go, okay, maybe it is worth having your child assessed.
Yes.
You know, I mean.
Well, with the medication, occupational therapy, we don't use medication. We use activities to improve your function. So, for example,
all right, so let's look at this. I seen that we're talking about activities. You're going to show us. She's going to show us an activity.
So I'm going to show you. Well, you're going to do this activity.
Oh, I'm going to do the activity. I don't have my hand. That's Mike today.
You need one. You only
need one hand.
Because sometimes I do this with one hand, and sometimes I do it with. To be mean, to be a mean auntie, I'll do it with one hand.
To be a mean auntie?
Yeah.
Why would you want to be a mean auntie? So what are we doing here? Let's move all of this out of the way.
So this is called putty. It's therapy. It looks like Play-Doh. I call it my fancy Play-Doh. It doesn't really have a smell.
Okay.
But this is something that I would use with children, but use it with adults as well.
My left hand, so I'm going to do my right hand.
And it's used to strengthen the hand muscles, basically. Okay. And you can use it for grip as well.
Oh, it's a good thing I did my nails today.
That's what I was thinking too.
I never do my nails.
Inside there, I have 5 of these coins.
You have these in here?
Yes, so they're hidden in there.
I can see one. No, I can't
so one of the activities we would do is we would start with the putty and say, well, find the coins in the putty. And that's a little warm-up.
Would you like me to do that now?
Sure.
All right.
You don't have to find all 5. Mic? I will.
All right. I don't have to.
You don't have to hold 5. You don't have to find 5.
Are you going to time me?
Sometimes I do, but I could if you want, but nah.
I'm very competitive. So I want you to time me. And then I'd want you to do it. I found one. Do I have to like pull it out?
Yep, you can pull it out. No, you have to pull it out.
I have to pull it out?
Yes.
My daughter was doing
You have to release the coins.
She would be doing this so fast because unless it's a competition, she's not interested.
There
so I have to release the coins. Cameraman, are you getting this? Now this is not funny because now I have like some, oh, sorry. I have to move the cup. Y'all can't see what I'm doing. I am so sorry. Move the cup. Right. Let's move the paper too. And we're finding 5.
You're almost there. You're going good.
Into my nails.
It wouldn't get. It's better than Play-Doh. Because Play-Doh gets on their fingers.
All right.
Very badly.
I'm feeling 1 again. I'm feeling 2.
So this is something we would use for somebody who has decreased strength in their hands. Okay. So it could be an adult, like my friend who had weaker muscles after the accident. It could be an older adult who has arthritis and needs to keep the joints mobile. Congratulations! You're not finished yet, though.
I'm not finished yet.
So now...
So that was just strengthening my... So there's no focus or attention or anything. Did you learn from that?
Yes.
What did you learn about me? That I'm awesome.
And you have very good attention, very good fine motor skills and strength, very good coordination.
Yeah,
there's a lot. There's a lot.
Fine motor skills.
Good fine motor skills, attention, coordination.
But I mean, these are things that parents can just do at home and pay attention.
Yes. A lot of the activities that we use are very simple, and sometimes
so
we
you
do
know
have
what you're
homework.
gonna do? Not in this segment. We're gonna take a segment just for that. We're gonna go through some simple things that they can do at home, because then, I mean, not everybody, if you're like me, I certainly can't afford to bring my child just to make sure she's okay. But you could tell me a few things that I could do at home to judge certain things. Good. So we know that I'm awesome with fine motor skills. We knew that already. I played hockey all my life and I coach kids. Next. What's next? I'm ready.
So next, we're going to check your grip.
My grip.
Your pincer grasp, which you need. This is what you need to hold a pen and be able to write.
Okay.
But also...
I can't hold a chopstick.
Ah, well, let's see how you do with this one. So with this one, you have to put them in here.
But
what I'm going to do is put it in the middle here.
Oh, Lord.
And you're going to try to bring the coin up to your fingertips like this.
Bring it up to my fingertip like that?
There you go. Perfect.
So then why can't I hold a chopstick?
Maybe you need OT for that. Just for that.
Just for that? No, like seriously. I mean, people try. They have been trying all my life. And this thing, I blame it on my fingers. Because if you look at it, I have the smallest hands in the world.
Ah, I have...
I'm telling you, I have smaller hands than you. Look. I have like tiny hands, right? So I blame it on that. But
they
I mean,
have children's chopsticks.
Yeah, well, okay, I'm not going to use... Now you want me to go in a restaurant and say, hey, you have children's chopsticks, please? No. Okay, so my grip is good. So this tests your grip. But I mean, at home...
But also the muscles inside here that help you to grip.
All right. Are you... Cameraman, can you get that? So that we could teach our kids. So if you wanted to test your, you know, like your child's grip and whatnot, they can like maybe put a little 1 cent or something and,
a little
and
coin,
do that and fill the bucket with some coins.
Just get a margarine container, put a little slit inside of it,
and then make
put them in.
And that works on their grip.
It works on the grip.
What age can they start to do that?
You could start from 3.
From 3?
Yeah.
So this works on their grip and work on their attention.
Coins, yeah.
Okay,
grip,
so
the
from
attention,
3
the
we should be using about a 5 cent?
Yeah, 5 cents should be good for 3.
Yeah?
Yeah. But the only thing with 3-year-olds, if you have a 3-year-old who likes to put things in their mouth,
but
then
you have to watch them.
You don't have to use coins. You could use small objects. So sometimes I will tell parents they could use red beans, dry red beans or peas,
that you take and move.
Yeah, and put it in. So you don't have to use that.
Next activity.
Yes.
I like activities. I'm a child.
What we'll do with this one too, sometimes we will count it, and that helps with attention as well. So whenever they find all the coins, we have it on the table, and you count all of them first. And you wouldn't believe, sometimes, you get 6 about twice. Right. So you count 1, 2, 3, skip 1, skip 1. So we have to start back over. So a simple activity like this, you work on a lot.
Explain that to me. So let's pretend I'm 6. And so we have all of these things here.
Right, so you have all of them there.
Right, cameraman, I hope you're getting all this, I am so happy I did my nails today. Right, so you have all these lined up here. What's the next step?
Now, I would say, okay, we're going to count how many coins we have.
You talk to me like a child,
Sorry. I am. Hi, Marsha. So we're going to count all the coins, okay? Ready?
Okay, Auntie. Yes. This is assuming I could count. 1. Do I have to point as well?
You can.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. Let's pretend I did well. Now, what would not well look like?
Okay. So a child who maybe has some attention difficulties, they might go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then
because they're skipping around.
Go back again.
Okay.
Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7.
What age should they be doing this properly?
School age. From preschool. Now when...
What is preschool? 3? 4.
Yeah.
So by 4, they should be able to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to 10?
Yes, to 10.
Okay.
And then when they get into 5, then they could count up to 20 and be able to
do it. So by 5, 6 years old, they should be able to count to 20, pointing to something, not skipping it.
Right.
If they start to skip it or they like double touch on 1 or something, then that's a sign that maybe their attention is not exactly where it needs to be?
Yes.
Yes.
It is a sign.
And you can teach me how to be attentive?
Indicative. Yeah.
Serious?
Well, the attention, I was speaking to somebody.
Where was she all my life?
Well, the attention.
I don't pay attention. Clearly, you can tell I'm not paying attention to her now.
That's so funny.
I'm not. I don't. Let me tell you. My mother tries to talk to me, and I go, when would she finish? When would she finish? I can't even watch reruns on my own show. I can't sit and watch it for a whole hour.
Well, then, is it affecting your functioning? Because maybe you
Who knows?
Do it yet, but nobody doing well. So
No, I don't know. You see, well, but this is so that brings a whole other debate because I mean, I kind of think that you work with what you have. You know, so, oh gosh, we're going to want to break. These bills, I hate bills when I tell you. I hate them at home, I hate them here. We now start to get a little thing going. Okay, when we come back, we're talking occupational therapy, and apparently, you know, we're going to discuss whether or not I've done pretty decent with all my attention issues. Don't go anywhere, we're paying bills and coming right back. You're watching Care. Hi, and welcome back to Care. If you're just joining us, today we're talking all about occupational therapy, which is, for those of you like me who had no clue, it is you helping others do daily activities independently.
Yes.
I'm getting better.
I still remember it.
Yes, I still remember it. When we left off, we were talking about, you know, the number of children that have such a difficulty focusing, and you put it down to lack of outdoor play, you know, just to make sure that I'm getting it correctly. Indoor has the air condition, has so many controlled factors. Outdoor, you have the breeze, you have the noises, you have the grass. So their bodies, their sensory what? System. Okay, so their sensory systems being developed. And all of that actually leads into not only the inability to focus, but handwriting.
Yes.
So children having difficulty with handwriting, you know, it's just that their bodies are not ready for it and whatnot. Yes? Correct?
Well, the handwriting is the bodies may not be ready for it physically. They might have poor shoulder strength, so to physically write will be hard. The grip might be weak. The muscles mightn't be strong enough. The core mightn't be strong enough, so they'll be slouching.
So at home, when we think our children are not writing, and we say, okay, spend 10 minutes every day writing, is that may not, I'm seeing your face, so that mightn't be the best thing. So let's say my child's not doing too well with handwriting. What are some of the things that I can do? I mean, I'm a coach, and so obviously the first thing I'm thinking is some sit-ups and some core muscles and whatnot. But what are some things that they can do to help develop their body so that they're ready for handwriting?
Well, because handwriting, you have a whole bunch of things that are going on to help you write. You could develop other skills that would lead to better handwriting. So one of the main things that you could do at home that's super, super easy and you don't need any extra things is chores. So for children, they are very capable of doing things like sweeping. To sweep, you need, even if...
When you say children, what age?
Any age. Depending on the age, you could adjust the chores to suit.
Okay.
So for a young, like a maybe 3-4-year-old, where you wouldn't really want them to be doing things like pouring the washing machine liquid and all of that. They could do things
but
like...
they could sort the clothes.
Exactly.
They could put the
sort the
clothes
clothes. And then that will work on the visual skills, because it's working on matching colors, basically. You put all the whites together, the darks together, the colors together. And it also, they can help to carry the basket. If you have 2 children, 2 of them could help to carry the basket. And as you get older, they can help to pour, and one hand holding the detergent and one hand holding the little cup. That is working on using your 2 hands together, which you need for your writing, because one hand holds the paper, one hand writes.
So something as simple as pouring
anything, pouring juice
into something else
exactly
would help with handwriting.
Yeah.
Wow, there are things that we really take for granted.
It is.
And then I mean, oh my gosh, I'm just thinking of 1,000 different
I think all the things now. So chores are good. Chores are very, very good for children. I mean, you don't want it to be overboard.
Obviously, yeah.
But you want it to basically match their abilities, and it allows them to have independence, which is what occupational therapy is all about. It's teaching them some life skills that they will need for later on. But it's also developing the muscles that they will need to help them in school, and is helping them.
How do they develop their core muscles?
When they're doing chores?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even like the idea of doing chores.
If you're doing something
but I might develop a game where you get to pour.
Let's say vacuuming. This will be for a little bit older children who can handle the vacuum. But if you do vacuuming and you have to vacuum carpets, or if you're washing the car, anything like that, when you are finished, you will, for adults, you will, you'll feel your muscles working. If you're doing sweeping is excellent for your shoulder muscles and your upper body strength. By the time you finish,
sweeping is a great one to help kids with handwriting.
Exactly. Okay. And also even things like cooking, to help to mix if you're making bread, to help to knead the bread. That's kind of like Play-Doh. So all of that action would be like this.
Play-Doh is a good tool to use to develop a lot of the things based on what I'm hearing. Yeah.
Play-Doh is our friend.
And you know, it's so funny that I know a lot of parents don't do the Play-Doh because it messes up the tiles and whatnot.
Yeah, I do have that. A lot of parents I mean, I understand because they have to clean it. I mean, the children could help clean it too, because that's also another activity. But when you have a time crunch and you have different things to do,
it's a little bit difficult.
It's harder.
Okay. All right. So we have the handwriting. What are some of the other things? I mean, what are some basic things that parents can do at home to help, sensory development, focus, handwriting? So we discussed the handwriting. Focus. Okay. So I know that we talk about going outside. And other than coming to my camp, I mean, it's not possible all the time to be taking children outside all the time. Are there some things that they can do at home very simply to help them with their focus?
Yes. Well, to help with attention, basically, one of the things that you can do is actually to help with scheduling. So for some children, they might need, just by them knowing what they have to do throughout the day, kind of helps them to be able to plan their day in their head. They are able to see, well, all right, after I wake up, I have to go and bathe, I have to put on my clothes, go to school.
So showing the child what your day
what they
looks
have to
like
do.
And explaining
that
helps to them.
That helps with attention, because it just gives them that idea of what it is they have to do when.
Okay.
And other things that you can do, if you have a child who is very fidgety and always moving in the seat and need to get up, you can do things like, instead of having them sit on a hard chair where it's uncomfortable for them, and for them they'll only be thinking, oh, this chair, I can't sit on this chair. They can sit on an exercise ball instead, one of the big exercise balls. And by sitting on that, with their feet on the floor, of course, or else they'll go flying. By sitting down on the ball instead of the chair, they could move a little bit and they could roll around a little bit, but they're still able to focus on their work, because their minds...
So they can actually do their work on the exercise ball.
Yes, because their minds are not thinking, oh, I need to get up, I need to move. They're already getting the movement, so then they could focus on what's in front of them.
You
could try it.
My language. You
can try it for adults too. It works for adults too.
I do a seminar called Multiple Intelligences, so you're definitely speaking my language, because my daughter does cartwheels while I'm reading, and I tell people big up, let her, because she needs to move.
And she's listening. I'm sure she's listening to you.
Exactly. Better than if I made her sit.
Exactly.
Because as you just said, when they're sitting and all she's focusing on is like, I just want to move. I just want to move. She's not focusing on me reading.
Yeah. And then she moves, and then because she's moving, she's able to listen better, because her body is getting what it needs to listen. So
I'm a genius. Okay, so what are some other things that we can do at home?
All right. For, let's say, I have a child who has poor visual skills, not in terms of needing glasses, but maybe with the writing, they're writing back to front, or maybe they're writing on the other side of the page, even doing things in the kitchen, again, coming back to chores, things where they might have to put away the dishes.
Games? Why are you like always on this chore thing, boy? Oh my gosh. Like she's boring.
Because it's easy to do home. All right,
fine. What chores they can do? Put away dishes.
But put away like the forks in their place, the spoons in their place, the knives in place.
What about a game? I'm all about games. I'm all about fun.
Cards. You can play cards. Playing games like Snap and Go Fish and matching games and memory games. Those are excellent. I'm sure everybody has a pack of cards in their house. Well, I have several.
They sell
Can't
them
find them
easily, so
but I have them.
You can find them, yes.
Things like this. Checkers. You can play checkers. You can, with Scrabble, sometimes, some games I don't play them how they're meant to be played, but with Scrabble, you can use the letter tiles. You could hide the letter tiles in dry rice and have them find it and then make a word out of it. I love dry rice. I hide lots of stuff in dry rice and we have to find it all the time. You can do puzzles as well.
I don't like puzzles. What does that say that I don't like puzzles?
I didn't like puzzles.
Is that my attention issue?
Could be.
What is that?
It could be.
I really don't like puzzles. I don't like puzzles, no.
Me neither.
Well, good.
Same way.
And you're smart, so that's all right.
Like
tell me some of the ages and milestones. What are some of the things that they should be able to do, we should be looking out for to know, all right, this working, this ain't working, we need to go by Miss Drake's, whatever,
Okay. So from when you're young, from the baby, you're looking at focus. So you're looking at them turning towards you from within the first 3 months. When you talk, they might not exactly look at you, but you wanna see their heads turn to orient to the sound of your voice. When they are 5-6 months, they'll be sitting down by themselves. 7-8 months, they're starting to sit, they're starting to move around more, use their arms, use their legs. And around that time as well, you'll find them being able to hold a spoon to maybe put things to their mouth. Well, my niece held a spoon when she was about 5 months old.
5 months old.
5 months old.
Okay.
But around there, but some children, even if they don't feed themselves, they'll still hold the spoon in their hand.
Right, because they can hold the spoon and like put it all over the place.
Exactly, so and the food will be everywhere, which is fine because that as well is part of their development. And when you get to about 9 months, you start to get some children might start to actually creep and move, but others just kind of commando crawl on their belly, which is very, very important as well for developing all these muscles. And there were some children go
A lot of parents have an issue with the ground because the ground's dirty.
But they need that for their immune system as well. Not too much dirt, but to build up your immunity, you need to be exposed to...
Right. That's a whole other topic.
Move on. That could take a whole show.
Yes. Okay, so what age would you say that children should be, okay, if they're not holding their spoons, at what age is that a cause for concern?
It depends on kind of putting everything into perspective. If you find that, all right, they're not holding the spoon, you find that they mightn't have an interest in any of the toys, they might not be grasping your finger, they mightn't be looking at you, then as early as possible, once you notice them not being able to look at you, not being able to maybe make little babbling noises, not being able to reach for toys. Possible? 6 months.
So by 6 months, if that's not really happening, if grabbing and stuff not happening,
then you can start to...
If you have a lot of hair and pulling it.
I've been there. I have been there.
Clearly I've been there. So if you come by Auntie Marsha and the child not pulling your hair at 6, by Drake's.
Pulling hair will be a little bit older.
Okay,
that's like about 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 8 months. 8 months.
Yeah,
okay, if they're 8 months and they're not pulling Auntie Marsha hair, then you take them by Drake's.
Yeah, then you carry them by me.
Right. So what else? So let's talk about walking. Let's talk about,
Okay. Well,
walking. They're commando crawling and stuff.
The commando
5, 6 months, 8 months.
And then by about a year is when most children typically start to walk. Some will go from about 10 months and then some will go a little bit after. But for walking, some children, you see them trying to walk and it's just a matter of time and then they get
What can a parent do? Or what are parents doing? Because I think that, I don't think we intentionally caused focus issues on our children. We didn't go, well, we want you to not be able to focus, so we're going to keep you inside. They are genuinely not aware that they're the cause of the child not being able to focus, What are some parents?
You'll get me in trouble by saying things like that.
In trouble. I say that. I said it. Not her. I said it. No. But what are some of the things that a parent might be doing and are not aware that they're doing that's slowing the progress of a child walking?
One is technology. So one is a lot of the times having the child either lying down or sitting down or whatever with the iPad in front of them or in front of the TV. That is impeding the progress because that could be time spent sitting on the floor with the child, playing with the child and engaging with the child and having them, making eye contact, singing songs with them.
How does eye contact and singing songs have anything to do with walking?
It's part of your communication. Well, eye contact, you need to see where you're going when you're walking.
But I thought walking is all about foot strength. If my thighs, my legs are strong and I know how to walk, that's how I walk.
But you have to be able to navigate your environment too. So even if you're walking, you might know how to walk, but to be able to walk around this table without bumping into it, you have to have certain visual skills in place, and you have to be able to plan how to move your body, which is where not just your physical skills come in, but your visual skills as well.
And all of that. Gotcha. We're going to pay some bills.
Yes.
When we come back, it's our last 10 minutes and we're going to wrap up.
Right.
I've learned so much.
I'm
well,
glad.
Apart from the fact that I've learned what occupational therapy is, don't go anywhere. We're talking occupational therapy on Care. If you're joining us, well, you're pretty late because we've only got 10 minutes left. We're talking occupational therapy. Occupational therapy is where you go by Miss Drake's hair, and she helps you to do everyday things independently. There's something that we'd said on one of the breaks, and I wanted to touch on it because my thing was, well, why do I need an occupational therapist? I've gotten along pretty well in life without doing certain things, without being great at it. And, you kind of said, well, not everyone, some people it's bigger than them, it's not something that they can necessarily get past. So I kind of want to put that disclaimer there. We're not saying that, if your grip's not good or this not good or like me and you can't focus, it doesn't mean that, it's all doomed.
Yeah.
It's just if it's too much, if you can't get past it and it's really a hurdle that you can't get over, then you need to go and check Aaliyah. I'm going to stop calling her Miss Drakes.
Yes, please, Miss Drakes is when I'm getting in trouble in school.
Well, some of the things that you're saying, you're probably getting in trouble telling people all kinds of things, yeah? Okay,
Yes.
so we're going to wrap up. There are two things I want to do in this segment. I want to talk about the Team Hope. You guys are doing something for giving hope for Christmas. Tell me about it.
Yes. Okay. Team, the Occupational Therapy Association, Trinidad and Tobago Occupational Therapy Association, or TTOTA.
Right.
We have our fundraiser, which we do every 2 years, and the fundraising initiative is called Team Hope, which is helping ordinary people do extraordinary things. So this year, fancy. So this year we are partnering with Habitat for Humanity, Trinidad and Tobago, to build a house for somebody who needs it. Now, the person that we have selected with the help of Habitat is an older gentleman. And I was saying before, it might be how occupational therapy not only helps people who have a known condition or illness, but it helps people age in a healthy way.
Right.
So this gentleman, he's getting older, but his house needs to be redone, and we are going to step in and not just build the house, but also build it in an accessible way and also help him.
Age-friendly way.
Yes. So we're going to come in and not just help Habitat figure out what they can do in terms of maybe making the doorways wider in case maybe later on he might be a wheelchair user, we don't know. But also we're going to help him and his family learn techniques to help promote better aging for him. So things like having low counters, making sure that the bathroom is accessible. He doesn't have a bath he has to step into. He has a shower, not too many steps, maybe some grab rails for the toilet to make sure that he is safe in his environment. So we're going to do that. We're starting from September, and we're recruiting volunteers. And
how do we get in contact with you if we want to volunteer?
It's on the flyer. You can email ttota.adm@gmail.com.
So how you get in contact with her is you go to marshariley.com because that's a lot easier. Or you find us on Facebook. Just, if you hashtag care parenting, and I've tried this, we're the only one that uses that hashtag. So you hashtag care parenting, and you'll find me, and you say, I want to volunteer to build a house for that little guy out there. Yeah, that can work.
Yeah,
and we're going to put all her information on our Facebook page.
Yes.
And that way you can get it.
Yeah, that's the easiest way.
That's the easiest way. And we're going to put a flyer and everything there.
Yeah.
When are you guys starting? When do you need these volunteers?
We have the meet the team party on the 4th of September.
Ooh.
Which
I have to choose that now?
It's on Sunday, but the actual build doesn't start until the following Sunday, which is the 11th. And that first day is when everybody comes together, and that's when we actually start. That's when we do the excavation and dig the ground and start the work.
Gotcha.
So that's the
and
big
how long
kickoff.
is this expected to take?
It will take 3 months, so we're expected to finish
So we have to
December
volunteer
4th.
for 3 months.
So it's 3 months,
Every
and we're
day?
asking, not every day, we're asking all the volunteers who sign up, we would like a minimum of 6 sessions. 6
How long
times.
is a session?
5 hours.
Okay.
So it can be a weekday, it can be a weekend. So if you have a day off of work and you say, hey, I think I can make it that day, so let me do that day in the week, and then you do the weekends. We would like everybody.
What about people like me who are not interested in building, but I could bring muffins? I could feed
Everybody
you.
has to do a build, and in addition to the
You
build
need
it,
water. I could pour the
we
water
provide
and give it to
water.
you.
That's okay.
But somebody has to come and give you the water.
But you see, when you do the build, the beauty of it is that you're going to be doing something extraordinary.
I was only thinking I'm a
So
daughter, that's
you'll
why.
be an
'cause I want to bring
ordinary
her.
person
I want to bring her.
doing an
But I
extraordinary
want to bring my
thing.
daughter.
You have to be 16.
You have to be 16.
Yeah.
I'm not 16 yet. I barely turned 12. Okay, fine. So you have to be 16 years and over.
Yes, you have to be 16
All
and
right.
over.
Anything else that we have to be? Other than willing to get dirty?
You have to be medically fit. I mean, you do have to sign a waiver to say that you are medically fit because, I mean, it's hard work. You're helping to build a house. So you don't have to be specially trained because Habitat will help with that as well.
Gotcha.
And for some of the...
So 16 and over,
Yeah.
a little bit fit.
And
a good
everybody has to
personality.
raise a certain amount of money, some of which will go towards
So
directly
if I
to Habitat
volunteer,
first.
apart from building, I have to raise money?
Yes.
Oh my
It's a
gosh.
fundraiser.
How am I raising money?
You could be creative. We've had people
Oh wait, so you're not giving me a raffle sheet that I could just go on?
No.
So I have to raise the money?
Yes, you can have, people have had parties, cooler
Cameraman,
fed,
yeah,
boat
no?
rides. You could do the cake, normal cake sale, or you could just do what I did and just beg my family for money.
I can beg the audience. Is that allowed? Yes, I could beg the audience. I can put like something outside of Synergy and say, this is Marsha's fundraising. Please put some money in there. Marsha's going to be building, getting her hands dirty, and I can just for that. Synergy, if I go, you're going to come and film me and say, Marsha building house. And yeah, you see my camera.
Hi, you can do that.
You can build house.
You could have a reality TV.
Reality TV.
Build a house.
TV, build a house. All right. Before we go, we have one more thing. This is real talk. I like that.
Surprising. Wear the ring.
I use my ring. All right. Next one. Occupational therapy in T&T. A master's program.
Yes,
Tell
which
me
is
about it.
humongous.
This is first in the Caribbean.
In the Caribbean. Well, I've been here for 8 years, and for pretty much all of the 8 years, I've been hearing we need to have a master's program in the Caribbean, and different countries have tried, and even we have tried before with another university to try to get this program off the ground. And finally, through the very hard dedication, very hard work of Leslie Garcia, we're able to have this program that is going to start in September 2016, which is a massive milestone.
What do you need to qualify to do this program?
Okay, well, the master's program, you have to have certain prerequisites. The program is run by University of Southern Caribbean, USC.
So their website.
Yes, and then they will have the prerequisites that you need.
But it's too late now for this particular
Yes,
but
yeah. They have their cohort now, but
we're making strides.
Excellent strides.
Of course,
it's really fantastic.
There to study, once we can do it.
Yeah, because most of the time.
Wouldn't be just 14 all day.
Exactly, but that's what we want. We want more. Could always have more. Always.
It has been a pleasure.
Same here.
Thank you very much. Any closing comments? I'm going to ask if she has any closing comments. Let me tell you, there's a new cameraman, right? You don't find he kind of like, he's really entertaining me.
I think he learned a lot.
Facial expressions is entertaining. He's clearly paying attention.
But I wasn't watching him through the whole show.
You wasn't watching him?
No.
See, you should have better focus on my doing. I should have been focusing on what you're saying and not focusing on your expressions. Any closing comments?
Thank you very much for having me. I hope that you learned a lot. I know that you did. And, I hope that going forward, you'll be able to at least educate other people about occupational therapy based on what you learned today.
No, that's why I have the show. So they can just go and look at the show.
And see it.
Just go watch the show.
Well, that's okay. You have permission to rerun this as many times as you want.
Go on my website, you'll find it there.
Yeah.
And then that way I don't have to tell you. You can just go on here and say it. Nobody believes me. My hair is
Thank
too
you for
crazy
having me.
You're most welcome. Thank you for coming. I think this is something that I know it's not something widely known in Trinidad.
No, not at all.
And so I'm pretty happy about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
See you guys next week. Have a great independence.
Oh, yeah.